To jumpstart a vehicle with a dead battery. Now, just for demonstration purposes only, we're going to use my '09 Hyundai Santa Fe, my mom's car, as the jumper vehicle, and we're going to pretend that my Dakota has the dead battery. So, now a little thing about battery jumping. So, a lot of vehicles have their batteries underneath the hood, and that's all fine and dandy. Some of them you can't get to very well. Some of them are even in the trunk. So most of the time you have a jump start post of some sort that is clearly marked under the hood. If you do have a jump start post, basically follow these instructions, but instead of hooking the cables up to the battery, you hook them up to the appropriate jump start posts. Remember, we don't want to reverse any cables or anything like that. Positive goes to positive, negative goes to negative. Do never switch the two. Because one basic word of safety here is that batteries produce hydrogen as they charge, and of course with the vehicle's alternator they always charge, so they always produce hydrogen gas. So if you make a spark or something like that, the battery could go boom and spray acid all over you. So the whole point of this procedure that I'm about to show you is to avoid that from happening. So let's get started, shall we? So the first step is to push, pull, or drag in any way, shape, or form the vehicle so that the two front ends are facing each other, or they're side by side, or whatever you do to get the vehicles together so you can jump start them. Now also another thing I should mention is get a good set of jumper cables and have them in your car. You know, a cheap set, they may work for a while, but maybe if you have a bigger vehicle or something like that, get a heavier gauge set, because a cheap set of jumper cables, they'll smoke and everything like that. I've actually seen them smoke from having too much juice run through them. So make sure you get yourself a good quality pair of jumper cables. Anyway, so I'm going to park the vehicles next to each other and we'll get started. Okay, so as we notice, we have something called a shift lock release. It's right beside the shifter handle in my car. This, if you pop this cover off and insert a long object such as, oh, maybe a key or something like that, it'll allow you to get the shifter out of park and release the shift lock. So anyway, let's get started. First things first, get the hoods of both vehicles open. So, like I said, we're going to pretend that my Dakota is the dead vehicle, sorry. So now this is just for demonstration purposes, but notice that both batteries are on the driver's side, so this actually technically won't work. But I don't feel like putting them end to end. Alright, so step one, make sure that your vehicle is not running. Either vehicle. Well, that's pretty obvious. First step, we're going to start with our jumper vehicle. We do not want the vehicle to be running. And we are going to take the positive end of the jumper cable and attach it to the good battery. Now, right now we're just going to leave the negative end alone. Okay, so now the next step, as we can see, we've accumulated a little green fuzz after I cleaned it, but anyway, we take a positive lead on the other end and we attach it to the vehicle's dead battery. Now on the good battery, we attach the negative cable. Make sure that these are securely fastened. Now on the vehicle with the dead battery, we do not want to hook this up to the negative cable, because if we do, we put this clamp on, it may spark, and spark and hydrogen means boom. So what we want to do is we want to come over here and look, and there's plenty of metal on the engine. So right here is a nice thick piece of metal here. Kind of want to move it back and forth a little bit, get a good connection. So we always want to ground the negative cable on the dead battery to a good solid engine ground or body ground of some sort. Maybe down in the exhaust manifold way down there or up on top of the engine, but it has to be something good and solid metal. Okay, so now we're going to come and start the jumper vehicle. And now we come over and we start the vehicle with the dead battery. And there we go. That's how we jump start a vehicle with a dead battery. Alright, so now you know. If you're ever in a situation where a vehicle has a dead battery, either you or whoever has the dead battery will not be stranded. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you learned from this. I'm 6Speed Dakota. You can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/6Speed Dakota, Twitter at 6Speed Dakota, Google Plus 6Speed Dakota. Thanks for watching, everybody.